How's it going, everybody? It's Riley's Redzone here, back with another weekly NFL picks video, and in today's video, we're predicting every Week 16 NFL game, including guest picks from Carson, who gave me some specific predictions as well that we'll discuss, and they're very interesting. He's got some bold takes that could happen. Now, I would normally say the first pick of the week was made on Twitter, and if you missed that, you can check that out. But this week, I live streamed the game yesterday, all 3 hours of it, and you can still check that out on YouTube if you're looking to just kind of see what I was thinking during that. And I ended up going with the Jags, and they ended up winning. So luckily, I get to start 1-0 this week. But right after that, we already have some disagreement between me and Carson. Carson's going to go with the Falcons, who are the underdog in this matchup. The Ravens are favored by 7, but the Falcons are still in playoff contention because of how poorly the NFC South has been playing. So I can definitely see that, that the Falcons could be able to put up some points. They weren't able to get the win against the Saints last week, but Ritter, I think, provides a little bit more spark to that offense, and so that could happen. I am going to go with the Ravens, even though Lamar is out. I think Tyler Huntley will be all right this week. If they can just run the ball a little bit more, they're effective at it, so I think they'll be okay there. I'm going to go with the favorites. Carson does go with the underdogs in that matchup. Lions and Panthers, we're both going Lions. The Lions have been playing like one of the best teams in football over the last few weeks. And I think that they've got some momentum on their side, and they are really rolling right now. The Panthers have shown the ability to pull off some upsets at times, but I'm going to go with the Lions here. Surprise, they're only favored by 2.5. I think that the Lions have been playing really, really well, specifically offensively this season. So me and Carson are both thinking the same there. And then the Bills and the Bears, we're both going Bills as well. I think Justin Fields is a talented quarterback, but the team just needs a little bit more time to really develop. So I'm going to go with the Bills there. Carson's going the same. And so the Browns and Saints here, we're both going Browns. They pull off the win last week. I think they get another one this week just because I don't think the Saints are an especially good football team. They are still in the playoff hunt, though, because of, once again, the South just being a poor division right now. But we're both going with the Browns here. I think that Nick Chubb is just consistent. And then we'll see Deshaun has not been playing necessarily very well. Like, he's been all right, but I think that they can get it done this week to beat the Saints. We have differing opinions on the Chiefs-Seahawks game. Carson goes with the potential upset here with the Seahawks. That could happen. I mean, the Seahawks have shown their ability to put points on the board, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs, who are favored by 10 this week. I think it could be an interesting game, though. I would say 10 might be a little bit much on the spread, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I just think they're going to be fighting for the 1 seed. I think they have a lot offensively. But the Seahawks definitely could be keeping it close, I think, for sure, and Carson's going to go that direction. We both are going with the upset of the Giants over the Vikings. Specifically, Carson thinks that the Giants will make a defensive last stand on the final drive against the Vikings. I personally don't even think it's going to come down to the final drive. I just think that I've seen the Vikings before. I think that this is kind of a trap game. Especially after pulling an amazing win last week. So I'm going with the Giants. They debatable win, that was kind of controversial at the end there, but they got a win, and I think that specifically they have enough on offense with Saquon to light up this Minnesota defense. So I'm going with them there. Then we have the Bengals and the Patriots. Patriots come off a heartbreaking loss last week. It was really shocking that happened, but the Bengals have been playing like one of the best teams in football offensively, so I got to go that direction this week. I think Carson thinks the same thing. I think we got to go that way there. Carson thinks it's going to be a domination. I would kind of agree. I don't see the Patriots winning this one personally. Then the Texans and the Titans. The Titans don't have their quarterback. But Malik Willis can move around a little bit. He can run the ball. I think they'll be okay for a week. The Texans have been playing some teams close, so you kind of think they might be bound for a win after playing the Cowboys and the Chiefs very, very close. But I'm going to go with the Titans here, even though they have it slipping. The Jags pull off a win on Thursday to tighten the division. I think the Titans can get this win here. Carson thinks it's going to be a nail biter. I would agree with that. Because the Texans have been playing really, really close with teams, but I think the Titans can pull this one out. Then Niners, Commanders, low scoring game. I think this one's going to be. I'm going to go with the Niners. I just think they have a lot of momentum going. They're playing like one of the best teams, even with Brock Purdy at quarterback right now, with McCaffrey offensively, Debo. I thought the Commanders should have probably pulled a win out last week, but I think that they'll squeak into the playoffs and they could be sneaky. Carson projects this game to be 7-3. That's his bold take. Final score: Niners 7, Commanders 3. Just a tale of two defenses. That honestly, maybe I think that's a little of it. That could happen. I think it's gonna be a low scoring game no matter what. So watch out for that. Eagles, Cowboys. Eagles going with the backup quarterback this week because Jalen Hurts is out. I wish he wasn't for my fantasy team purposes in the playoffs. But Minshew Mania is going to Dallas. And me and Carson going with the Eagles. Now, Carson's prediction is that Minshew goes for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. So that's a really good day. I was considering the Cowboys, but seeing the line was actually Cowboys -4 or so kind of made me turn away. I think that's a little bit. I was going to pick them as an upset team, but I guess going to Minshew brought the Eagles line down that much. I'm kind of surprised there, but they're going to go with the Cowboys as the favorite, but me and Carson are going with the underdog Eagles. We do have differing opinions on the Steelers-Raiders game. I am surprised the Steelers are favored over the Raiders, but what a win for the Raiders last week. But I think I'm going to go with the Steelers here. This is a rematch of the Immaculate Reception game. Unfortunately, Franco Harris passed away this week. Prayers to his family and everyone he knew. I think that, honestly, that could give a spark to the Steelers. I think that this could be a repeat of what that was that long ago. I'm going to go with the Steelers in a Steelers-Raiders matchup. But Carson is going with the Raiders. They are the underdogs. Coming off a big win last week, though. I think this one could be a good one. I almost picked the Raiders. I think this was the hardest game for me to pick this week. I'm going with the Steelers, though. I just think they have a little extra motivation. I was surprised we both are going with the Packers. Now, I must also say, Carson did say that Carr is going to have a career game on Saturday. That would be quite interesting to see there. So we'll see what happens. We both are going with the Packers. Miami has been kind of losing some momentum, even though they put up a good performance last week. As a Vikings fan, I've seen the Packers do this time and time again. I can't count them out right now. So I'm going with the Packers. They might not make the playoffs, but they're going to keep fighting until they're mathematically out. So I'm going to go with the Packers in this one. Just kind of a feeling game. And Carson goes the same way. He thinks the Dolphins are kind of sinking and they continue that path. We both are going with the Rams, which I was interested in and kind of a little surprised to see they're the underdog. I know they lost last week, but Baker led them 2 weeks ago. And I don't think the Broncos are especially good right now with a backup quarterback. So I'm going to go with the Rams there. And so is Carson. They still have enough offensively to make a little bit of plays. So we'll see where they go. They're really losing guys left and right, but I think they still have a few playmakers, with the running backs, and now they have Baker. We're both going that direction for that game. He thinks that the final score will be 20-16 Rams. So Bucks, Cardinals, we're both going Bucks. I think just having a backup quarterback, even though Trace McSorley can throw not a dime, don't love that for the Cardinals having a backup there. So we're both going with the Bucks, leader of a, once again, lackluster division right now. But I think that the Bucks will be able to pull up a win. They could have had a win last week. I picked them. They were up, I think it was 17-0 or so, and they ended up losing it. So unfortunately for them, they lost that. But I think they could still get a win this week and maybe run away with the division because I believe that the other 3 teams in that division will lose this week, and that might almost seal it for the Bucks. And in the final game, we do have a differing opinion. I'd say the Chargers have been performing really, really well recently. This is finally what I thought we'd be getting. I really thought the Chargers would be taking a huge step up, even battling for like a 1 seed, but they haven't been this year. I must also say Carson predicts that the Bucks will win on a final game-winning drive from Tom Brady, so that's noteworthy. But the Chargers here to me have been riding a lot of momentum. I think they've been doing pretty well. The Colts, though, they're making a QB switch to Nick Foles, and Carson's pick here is the Colts, and he thinks that Foles will throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, this may come from a guy that is an Eagles fan and watched him win that Super Bowl, but that is still an opinion that he thinks Foles will just light up the scoreboard. We've seen him do crazier things, so could happen. So those are the picks this week. We do have quite a lot of differing opinions and also some unanimous upsets. So I'd say this has been one of the best weeks, like kind of a balanced of opinions here that I think makes it really interesting this week on the matchup. So with that being said, thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.